Hey everyone, hi, welcome to this Thursday live with me, Shalini. If you are brand new here, my name is Shalini Joshi Amdagni, and I'm an international physical and emotional pain relief expert. So what I do is I help people who are feeling stuck, because of emotional pain or physical pain, and what I do is I help them feel relief quickly so that they can get on with their lives feeling peace and clarity. And this is my weekly Thursday Facebook Live session where I'm sharing information, tips, tools, stories, strategies, so that you can live a life that's free of pain and that's filled with peace and clarity and joy. And so if you are, if you like that kind of stuff, then you're in the right place. And I also wanted to welcome you if you are here on my YouTube channel, watching this on my YouTube channel, welcome. And if you're brand new to my YouTube channel, and if you don't know about my YouTube channel, I do have a YouTube channel. It's I wrote it down this time. It's basically you go to EFT with Shalini and you'll get a ton of over some 100 tapping videos, EFT tapping. And so if you are not familiar, well, please be aware that there is a YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel, and if you like, if you don't want to miss out on the videos that I keep putting out, then do subscribe to that YouTube channel and you won't miss a single video, because even though I do these on Facebook, it all goes into my YouTube channel. So welcome. And today's topic is releasing resistance and returning to peace. Okay. So I want to welcome Ram. Hi, good morning. Brady, hi. Shifali, Saran, hi. College friend. So the topic today is releasing resistance. And what I'll do is I'll be sharing with you what I said in my I haven't written it down today for some reason, but I'll be sharing with you two ways of being. Not that I decided that way. It's just it's Byron Katie. I don't know if you're familiar with her amazing work. And I'm also sharing a story about Byron Katie related to resistance, right? And then I'm going to share with you signs that you may be in resistance, and then share with you some tips on how to overcome resistance, and also share with you the impact of when you are non-resistant. Okay, so before we jump into all that stuff, like, what is resistance? Like, what resistance means to me may be a different thing for you. So when I was going through and doing my little research, here's what came up from what is resistance. So these are different definitions. Okay, one is refusal to accept or comply with something, right? Another definition is any thought, belief, behavior, either conscious or unconscious, that stands contrary to our desire. Okay, I really resonate with that one. And then I also looked up, when I was looking at resistance, the scientific definition was coming up, and it was a measure of opposition to flow of the electric current. So it's resistance is also a measure of the opposition of to flow of an electric current, which is it's so wonderful, because we are also energy in flow. And so whenever we are in opposition, right, then we are in resistance. We are resisting the flow of life force, of life energy. And so coming back to, I don't know what your definition of resistance is. Maybe you resonate with some of this. You're welcome to share what you think or you feel what resistance is all about. but I'm referring to, you know, in our context here, I'm referring to, you know, this whole thing, right? Refusing to accept and having thoughts and beliefs and ideas and perceptions, consciously or unconsciously, that go against our desires. And also it's in opposition to what we, you know, going with the flow. And so, you know, what I found interesting is Byron Katie's work. I've studied her work for over 10 years now. I don't know if you know Byron Katie. Her most popular book is Loving What Is. It's fantastic. Go, you know, Google it, read it. I mean, and her work is called The Work. I'm not going to go into that. You can Google and find it yourself. But you know, as I was doing this, preparing for this Facebook Live, I came across this and I thought, this is so beautiful. And Byron Katie says that there are two ways to be, okay? One is at war with life, and one is at peace with life. Here it is, okay? So two ways to be. One is at war with life, reality, what's going on right now in your experience, or be at peace with your reality right now. So have a think about that. You know, whether it's your health right now, whether it's your relationship right now, whether it's the money in the bank right now, whether it's your, you know, your professional life, your job, your work, and how do you feel about it? Are you at peace with whatever's going on, or are you at war? You know, there's this inner resistance, there is this inner tug of war. There's like a battle going on, right? So there are two ways to be, as Byron Katie, I should have written her name. One is at war with reality and one is at peace with reality. I think this kind of just sums up everything. And I wanted to share a story, and it's also about Byron Katie. So Byron Katie has worked with like thousands and thousands, I don't know if it's millions of people all over the world. And she has spent a lot of time even in hospice with people who are about to die or who are terminally ill and so on. And so one of the stories that I heard from Eckhart Tolle's, conference that he was doing, and he was telling about this story that one day, this woman who was dying of cancer, right? She was terminally ill and she had cancer, and she requested to have Byron Katie visit her. And so Byron Katie visited her at the hospital where she was, dying of cancer, and she was in bed. So Byron Katie comes and she sits with her, and she says, "I don't see a problem." And the woman was really angry, and she said, "You want to see a problem?" And she got off the bed. She, took off the covers, and she says, "See." And what was there to see was that one of her legs was so swollen that it was twice the size of the other leg. Okay? And she says, "Now do you see the problem?" And Byron Katie looked and looked and looked, and she said, "I don't see a problem." And she says, "Are you blind?" The woman was angry, and she says, don't you see this leg, and don't you see this leg? Right? And Byron Katie said, this is what I wrote down because I wanted to, I didn't think I could remember the whole thing. So she said, Oh, I see. You are suffering from the belief that that leg should look like this leg. So who would you be without that thought? Who would you be without that belief? That is so profound and that is so powerful. And what happened was that the woman who was suffering got it. And for the first time, she laughed, all her nervous energy, and she laughed and she laughed and she laughed. And it was the first time she said that she had felt at ease and relaxed about her life. So, I was writing this down somewhere, but this is not my saying, that the only time we suffer is when we believe a thought that argues with reality. I'm going to read that again. The only time we suffer is when we believe a thought that argues with reality. And I don't know if this is making sense to you or not. I think it's completely very profound if we really think about it. There is resistance is basically wanting reality to be something different than it is, right? It's like resistance is that moment of awareness where you want something to be different than what it is. And that's what causes suffering. As somebody said, pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. And so I just want you to reflect on that, right? What are the thoughts that are going on in your head about your health, about your work, your job, your career, your relationships, and how believing those thoughts is creating suffering in your every new moment. I could just end the Facebook Live here because it's so profound, and it's there's so much you can get out of just that when the only time we suffer is when we believe the thought that argues with reality. So I hope I hope you are doing some kind of reflection as we go along and thinking of, wow, what are those thoughts in my head? And actually I was doing this past week with my kids and even myself, and I was like, wow, we are never present in a given moment. We are never at peace in a given moment consciously, like really present, because we are always in resistance. We are lost in the future, we are lost in the past, we are lost in our to-do stuff, right? And we're never really present. And so we are always in some state of resistance all the time. So what are, so that was a story, and that was the two ways to be. You can be at war with reality, or you can be at peace with reality. It is a choice that you are going to make. And sometimes it looks like that the outside is controlling the way we are being, and the outside people, the circumstances, the job, the health, the money situation is controlling how we are being, but that is never the ultimate truth, right? It's how we are responding and how we are reacting to what's going on outside of us, and what thoughts are we believing, what negative stuff are we buying into that creates our suffering. It's never the lack of money, it's never the the physical pain in itself, right? There must be some discomfort, but they say that the more you feed the resistance, the more you focus on the resistance, You re-energize it, you re-empower it, right? And you recreate it over and over and over and over. And so so that's something to think about, that focusing on resistance is basically re-energizing it and recreating it. And we have a choice to not do that. We have a choice to not, to be at peace or to be at war. It's a choice that we can make consciously, moment to moment. So what are the signs? What are the signs of resistance, right? What are some of the signs of resistance? Is, this is just some of them. There are so many, but focusing on lack and limitation, focusing on what's not working, focusing on all the things that are going wrong in our lives, focusing, it's so funny that no matter how much you achieve, or all the good that you've done, all that you've accomplished till this point in your life, we have this tendency to just dismiss all the good stuff, all the things that are going well. And we have this amazing ability to focus on what's not going well, what is wrong, what is not working out currently. So that's a sign that you're in resistance. Judging and labeling, whether it's judging yourself, I should be doing this more, I haven't done this enough, I'm not good enough in this, right? We judge ourselves over and over and over, or we are judging others, or we are labeling ourselves, and we are shoulding ourselves, I should be doing this, I should be doing that. And so every time you are doing that, you are in resistance. You have resistance. There's this, this tug of war. I'm going to think of resistance as this, inner fight, this inner struggle, this inner war with ourselves, right? Then anytime you're in pain, like physical pain or disease, because that, I have often said that pain is simply a message about what's going on with you, inside of you. So that inner struggle, that inner resistance, that inner, what did we call it, inner state where we are not happy with reality. And it can be a physical thing, it can be an emotional thing in a relationship. So when you are in pain, when you have a physical symptom, right, it's a manifestation of resistance. Illnesses and diseases, I believe, are manifestations of your inner state. So anytime you are having a disease or pain or emotional pain, it's a sign that there is dis-ease, which means resistance, which means a struggle going on, which means something is off balance within, right? And so that is a sign of resistance. Then there are things like procrastinating, you know you should be doing that thing, but you're not doing it, Maybe you're finding 100 different good excuses why you cannot do this. And there's always some good reason that comes up why you're not doing that thing that you should be doing. My daughter has been on my back. It says, Mom, you're procrastinating. You're procrastinating because I had intended to join a dance class eons ago. I love to dance, and I haven't done that. And she's a dancer, and she keeps telling me, when are you joining the class? Go for one class this summer, and I haven't been doing it. And I have all these good reasons why this is not the right time. So I am procrastinating. It's just that it's not a serious issue right now. Okay. Then if you are resigned and resentful. So resigned is not accepting what is. Resigned is more like, in that complain kind of mode where like, okay, this is what's happening and I have no choice and I just have to live with this. And then being resentful because they are luckier, they are smarter, they have it all, they're the lucky ones, and I get to be like this. And I've been in that situation, right, where I was like, okay, I have this pain now, and I guess this is it, and I'm here, and what did I do wrong, and this is not even fair, and how come she and she and she and she and they have it better, so you are not in acceptance. You kind of resign to live with the pain or deal with whatever is going on, but you're very resentful at the same time, and that's not peace. You're still at war, you're not at peace, right? And there could be so many different situations in your life where you feel like, okay, I guess I'll just make this much money, but how come they get more and I'm more deserving? And so there's this internal battle. So when you think of resistance, I think when you think of this inner battle, inner struggle, that makes it really clear what resistance is. And lost in future or lost in the past. So when the time is right, I'll join the dance class. When I have more money, I will invest in that program. When things improve, I will blah, 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 fill in the blanks. Or, in the past, it's been like this, and it's been so hard, and it's been so this, and that's why this is the way things are for me right now, and you're kind of lost in your story about your past. I did a Facebook live 2 weeks ago on your stories keeping you stuck, and this is all about your story, right? Lost in the past. This is what happened to me. This is what was done to me. I read a very interesting quote on freedom is what you do about what has been done to you. Freedom is what you do with what has been done to you. And that's another powerful thing to think about. We keep saying, this was done to me, this wasn't done to me, this is the way it happened. And so now I'm helpless because I'm here because of that and that and that and that in the past. But one of the very interesting mantras that I like to tell my clients to say is, that was then, this is now. Bring your power, bring all your power is in the now. And yes, maybe there were times when you felt powerless, and that was then, right? This is now. Now I can choose differently. Now I can take back my power. Now I can be open-minded. Now I can move forward. So if you're lost in the past of what could have been, should have been, or how it was done to you, and that's why you're here struggling, or you're here struggling, but when this happens and that happens, and when the future, the thing is that your future is determined by what you are doing now. What are you doing now? I know people who are suffering right now, who are in pain right now, who are depressed right now, who are in so much stress right now. But sometimes they'll say, when I have the money, then I'll sign up for the program. When I have the money, then I'll do this. And it's the opposite. It's when you take action now to change you now, then your future reality shifts too. So it's now is all your power, right? So that here are, I'm just sharing with you some signs that just popped into my head. There are lots of subtle ways you keep yourself stuck. There are a lot of subtle ways, that you don't even know, and it's all subconscious, and what we call in our EFT language, secondary gains, why you stay in resistance, why you keep up that fight. I have clients who will, or have heard of people who are in physical pain and they stay in that pain, right? Because there is something that they are gaining because of being in pain. And that's, that's a whole different topic. It's called self-sabotage by many. It's called secondary gains. What are the underlying things that are beneficial to you, so that you keep yourself in that state of resistance, in that state of pain. And people, say, really, Shalini, like if I'm trying to get rid of pain, then why would I want to be in pain? Well, because it's a subconscious benefit. Subconsciously, you don't want the responsibility of being pain-free, because what will happen when I'm pain-free? There are all these other secondary things that we are not conscious of about, but they are there. And so that's another layer of sign of resistance, which we cannot get into in this limited time that we have. So how do you clear resistance? How do you shift from this place of resistance to relaxing into peace, right? So thinking of, let me just put this side by side. I don't know if it makes sense. I'm just going to put it like that so I can see it. And I hope you can see it clearly too. So here is the signs of resistance, right? So focusing on lack and limitation, shift your focus. Focus on what is going right in your life. What is working in your life? I swear to God, there are tons and tons and tons of things. If you just pause and sit and reflect and focus on what's going right in my life, right? And so I call this pivoting. It's a term that I learned from Abraham Hicks. You pivot your thoughts, right? It's like I'm thinking of a ship, and how slowly you've got to turn and go. You can't do it instantly, but you got to start pivoting and changing the direction in which you've been thinking. And it's not going to happen. Sometimes it might happen instantly and you just get it, snap, something shifts, or it can take time, but at least you are letting go and releasing resistance by pivoting or shifting focus to things that are working in your life. Okay, judging, labeling, judging yourself, shoulding yourself, I should. I always say, care about how you feel. Care about how you feel. Wrong card. Yeah, care about how you feel. I believe, and I have read it in hundreds of books, that your emotions are like the GPS of you and your life and your path. So I am very, critically aware of my feelings all the time. It's just, I'm not saying you need to do that. It's just I've been doing this work for over 11 years now. And so I'm very aware of how I'm feeling, right? And when you're judging, when you're labeling, when you're saying, I should do this, I'm not doing this enough, how do you feel, right? You're not feeling good. So going back to, are you at peace with reality or are you at war with reality? And if you're not feeling good, and if you're judging yourself, and how do you know you're in resistance? Because you're not feeling good. So care about how you feel, because that will let you know, am I at peace or am I at war? Am I resistance or am I, going with the flow, right? So care about how you feel. So whether you're judging or whether you're angry or whether you're resentful, whatever, gamut of negative emotions there are, you will know, I'm not at peace. I'm still at war, a mini war, a big war, you'll know. And so that's a sign. And then once you care about your feel, you can again begin to pivot, shift towards things that do feel good, shift towards experiences that do feel good. I use EFT tapping to shift the way I feel. I'll post a link up here, and I already told you I have a YouTube channel called, and you can just go EFT with Shalini on my YouTube channel. And there are tons and tons and tons of videos, tapping videos to help you feel better. So care about how you feel. Now, when we were talking about being in physical pain, right? Yes, physical pain is a physical experience, and yes, you feel the sensation, you're feeling pain. But when you are resisting pain, when you are complaining about that pain, when you are talking about that pain, when you're feeling sorry for yourself about that pain, it makes it so much more worse. It could be an emotional pain, right? Maybe it's a relationship thing, maybe it's a spouse thing, maybe it's a child parent thing. But when you're in pain and you have a choice, right? You can say, okay, this is the way it is what it is, and sort of go into surrender, which doesn't mean like feel defeated, but it's just an acceptance of what is. When you remember that definition, the only time we suffer is when we believe a thought that argues reality. So when you have a thought that's arguing with whatever is going on, yes, I have this thing going on with my spouse, this is a situation physically that is going on with me, this is a situation that is right now emotionally, this is where I am. Or when you crib about it, complain about it, talk about it, feel sad about it, feel whatever, when you focus on it in a negative way, then you feed it, you fuel it, you re-energize it, and you create more of that pain in your life. And when I was thinking of surrender, here, this is a lovely definition that I came across, not came up, it's by Eckhart Tolle, and it says, surrender is giving up trying to understand and becoming comfortable with not knowing. Sometimes we just don't know, right? We just don't know why the heck we're going through this pain. And I can, when I think back to when I was in physical pain and nobody could figure out what to do with me, and I was really in a miserable place, I know that I made the pain much, much, much worse than it could have been, or it would have been, by complaining, by resisting, by frustrations, resentments, anger, feeling sorry for myself, trying to understand why the heck was all this going on in my life, right? And arguing with reality. So I believe I made it much worse. And so I want you to think about, what is going on in your life right now. Maybe there's a challenge, maybe there's stress in your work, in your relationship. And yes, there is whatever is going on in your reality. But arguing with it and complaining about it and talking to the whole world about it, Facebooking about it, whatever you're doing, it's fueling that thing. And you could be instead in a place of peace by surrendering and saying, I don't know what the heck is going on. This is the way it is right now. And I'm acknowledging. I'm not going to fight it. I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to struggle. I'm not going to make it worse than it is. This is what it is. And I'm just going to do the best with where I am, with what I have. So to me, that is, surrender. And, on procrastination, right? When you're postponing, when you're not doing that thing, you resistance because you have a desire and you're not getting to that desire because you're procrastinating for whatever reason, conscious or subconscious. And so what I have to remind myself is, my mentor always talks about progress is better than perfect, and done is better than perfect, right? So taking those baby steps and focusing on why. Why the heck are you even doing this thing? Why the heck are you even contemplating doing this? There's a why, right? Otherwise you wouldn't do it. Otherwise just leave it. Don't procrastinate. Just leave it. But there is a reason why you're doing it. So when you go back to the why, then you might feel inspired to take action, and always reminding yourself it doesn't have to be perfect. Perfect is sort of an illusion. Like, do we have the perfect iPhone? Every few months we get a better version, right? So I believe there's like, perfection is sort of a myth, and we think, it's all perfect, and we go down and we discover history shows it like this. We are always evolving. It can always be better. You can always tweak it and refine it. So let go of perfectionism. Let go of needing to have it all and know all the details before you move forward, and just go with the unknown and just doing, taking mini steps and moving forward instead of staying in that place of resistance. Okay. And so the other block, or the resistance that I was talking about, was resigned and resentful, right? And what I'm suggesting is to raise your expectation. And let me explain that. 10 years ago, when I was in pain, I had resigned to the fact that, okay, the doctors can't do nothing about it. I've tried so many different things and it hasn't worked, so I'm just stuck here. And I was very resentful. I was very resentful. I was complaining, and I was fighting with God, like, what the heck have I done that is so bad, that I'm in such a bad place, and so on and on and on. But what if, instead of just accepting the place that you are, from a place of resistance and resentment, what if you could raise your expectation? What if you could say that, okay, this is where I am, and I'm struggling, and I'm, in this stressful, challenging situation, but I know others, right, who have overcome even greater challenges. So what if I could raise my expectation and say, what if, because all these people that maybe some of them I know, maybe some you've heard of, the people all over the planet, Oprah Winfrey, Eckhart Tolle, whoever's become a big somebody, has been through their own set of challenges. And if they and these normal people, these normal individuals that I know, and all these stars that I know, if they've overcome their situation, then what if, there is a way out there. There is options out there that I'm right now not aware of, but what if there is a solution? What if I stop struggling? What if I give up control? What if I stop holding on? Resistance to me feels like a river, right? A river flowing down, and you are clinging to the rock because you're afraid to go, but the flow will take you. And so since you're not going, it's like the water is beating you up, and it's, pushing you, but you're not going because you're in resistance, right? So what if you could raise your expectation? What if you could let go of this struggle, and holding on tightly to this struggle place, and trust, right? And be open to things that are out there that we are just not aware of. We all have our blind spots. I didn't know there was something called EFT, and it would be as easy as tapping by my own fingers, not even going to a drugstore, not even going anywhere, just sitting on my bed and tapping and doing this and thinking about all the stuff that was stressing me out, and I would be pain-free. It seems, illogical. It seems like something out of a magic it seems like a magic trick, but that's what happened. So what if you could raise your expectation no matter what is going on in your life right now? What if you could raise your expectation and trust and believe that there is a way if you let go of that holding on so tightly to that resistance, okay? And lost in the future and lost in the past. If that's you, what if you could step into the present? I don't know anybody who is moving around without resistance, little resistance. All we are lost in this to-do list and this and that, and we're never present. And when you really get present, you realize that everything's okay here. I'm sitting here in my living room and everything is perfect right now. And so what if you could stop being in the past and stop being in the future and stop being in all the to-do lists and all the things that you have to do today, and just for 2 minutes, for 1 minute, step inside this moment and just focus on your breathing. And you'll step straight away, right away into peace. You will break from the struggle. You will step away from that inner struggle, the inner war, the inner battle, and you'll step instantly into a place of peace. So, try those, try these tips out. I'm sure you have tons of other stuff that you can try out, but these are the things that came to my mind and things that I do. I was also sharing in my last video about just, putting a hand on your heart and just focusing on the breathing to come back into the present, to release the resistance, to release the anger, the anxiety, the stress, and just breathe. Because when you breathe, you're back in your body, and when you're touching your body, it's like you're back from everywhere, and you are here where you are feeling yourself, right? And that's another way to release resistance. So I hope all of these tips and tools helped you, find different ways that resonate with you to release resistance. If let me see if there was anything else. Yeah. So here's something that I have read in A Course in Miracles, and it says, a miracle occurs during a shift in perception from fear to love. And it can occur in any given moment. Isn't that beautiful? Like your shift in perception from resistance to peace, from fear to love, right? So always reminding yourself, am I operating from fear, from resistance, or am I doing this and I'm being this from a place of love? And that's a great way. And that's, and amazing things have happened in my life, small things, big things, humongous things, when I operate from a place of no resistance or no stress and tension. And that's why, I am tapping every single day, constantly. And the reason I constantly clear resistance, anger, stress, worry, doubt, not feelings of not good enough, is to stay clear so that I can have constant contact with the divine. And that's why I'm constantly clearing using EFT tapping. And what happens is when you are clear, when you are in no resistance, right, you are in a place of inner peace, inner stillness, and you return to peace and you return to a state of flow, which is your natural, that is your nature, to be in flow. You are an energy being, and energy is never, never, never stuck. It's only what's going on inside of us that creates the resistance. And the wonderful thing that happens when you are in no resistance is you're like that still pond. And when you throw stones into a still pond, you see ripples, you see the ripples, going way across, and that's what happens. So when you are in a state of no resistance, which is zero, right? You're neutral. And then when you throw intentions, and you have intentions about, I want this in my health, in my money, in my relationships, and all of that, guess what happens? Energy flows where attention goes. And when your attention is on the things that you want and you're in a place of no resistance, you manifest those things way faster, way easier, and things that you desire start happening in your life with ease and grace. And so that's a big benefit of, consciously releasing resistance and coming to a place of no resistance as much as possible, right? So that you feel peace, first of all, and you can be in flow, and you can have all the things that you desire, because that is law of attraction. Attention goes where energy flows where attention goes. And the reason most of us are not manifesting and not having what we desire is that we have so much resistance going on inside. There's a war going inside, and then there's no energy. Like all the energy is focused on this place of resistance. And so we send these mixed signals. The pond is not still, the intentions are not clear. There's this, there's like a lot of noise. And so our intentions aren't heard clearly enough, and the energy is all mixed up. So that was the topic today. If this resonated with you, please like and share. If you would like to learn how to do EFT tapping to clear resistance, I have put a link up there, and I want to remind you again, because a few friends were telling me, Shalini, you have a YouTube channel? And I said, you don't know I have a YouTube channel? And so I said, I must say that to my Facebook people as well, because maybe you don't know I have a YouTube channel, and I have like over 100 videos, I think, now, with all kinds of tapping. And there is a tapping for releasing resistance, for pain, for lots of different things. So remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you get every single video, and you won't miss out on all the information, tips, and tools. Thank you so much for joining me right now. And I look forward to seeing you next week with another topic, new tools, maybe old tools. It's always good to refresh. So thank you very much, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys.